Hi there. It's me. I'm back. It's been a while. I hope everybody had a nice, relaxing, and enjoyable summer. I kind of sort of did. Very hot. My goodness, this year was a hot one. For us, anyway. I don't know about anybody else. Yeah, I'm going to ignore that balloon, believe it or not. So, I hope you're glad to see me again or hear from me again. It was a very long, dry spell there. Well, okay. I knew I couldn't record in the summer. It's just futile for me to even attempt it. It's just too much noise no matter what time of the day. And as hot as it was this summer, that was even bigger joke. And even being in the basement, it is so unbearably hot. So I have fans going. All the doors and windows are wide open. And we had at least 5 fans going, plus a ceiling fan, all summer long. But anyway, that's beside the point. I did continue to play Animal Crossing. I'm going to continue to play Animal Crossing, despite what everybody thinks and feels. And I do hope that's okay with the few of you who are interested. Oh, it's fireworks time. Last fireworks display of the year. Yes, this video is a little late. I had hoped to get it out on the 1st of September, but things happened and the video didn't. But, better late than never as far as I'm concerned. But this is the video I worked on all summer long. Oh, the island I worked on all summer long. Very pleased with it. Very, very natural. For those of you who are familiar with my work, I don't do core. Not a fan of the word core because it makes me think of Apple core. So I do use the fixtures. I do try to theme my island, but as far as that goes, it's like color and villager choice. I don't go for the kid and the city and the rundown, and it's just not my style. And my honest opinion about it is I think that's part of the reason this game lost steam as quickly as it did. Everybody was on Instagram and Twitter. Oh my goodness. And they all copied what they saw. And it got old real quick. And I was it was a little sad to see it come to that. So I never wanted to go that far. I wanted to keep it as natural as I could and put my own touches on things and hope that it worked. So I'm going to continue to build that way, and I hope everybody's okay with that. As far as theme went for this one, it was just summertime running around. I continue to try and find villagers that I've never had before, but I will be showing you shortly the map that I have. And it ended up being a bit of a kitty cat island, and I'm not unhappy with that. All of my villagers I was so in love with, I just didn't want to get rid of anyone. And Rolf here was the most difficult one to find. It was a strange... I'm not sure if Animal Crossing islands are similar to Stardew Valley farm layouts, where you get a seed, and like one Stardew Valley farm it can rain a lot, and another one you go through a dozen dry spells. your chance of finding the, what is it called, the leaf hat or the garbage can lid hat, increase or decrease depending on your seed. I don't know if these islands do that. They have seeds for star events and rain, so it is possible that you could get a dud island. And this island I just felt was a dud. I know it doesn't rain that much in the summer months. It rains a lot in spring and fall, I believe. And then you get the snow every single day. But that's fine with me too. A lot of people don't care for the winter, and I can't wait. I can't wait for winter. And according to the Old Farmer's Almanac, we're supposed to have a very dull, mild, bland, uneventful winter, but who knows? You never know. That's my house. I didn't do a whole lot of terraforming. I just opened up a path to the beach, the private beach, and I put everybody kind of sort of diagonal one another. But I did get Raine as a starter. Raine and, oh boy, Jay. Raine and Jay were my starters. And I was so happy with that. Bob, believe it or not, he's my birthday twin. And I had already found my Normie and my Peppy, so I only had one left, and that was the Lazy. And on the 16th or 26th ticket, there he was. Walker is the latest arrival to the island. Our Smug, who showed up in the tent, I had to take him, was Hippos, or Hippo. And I wasn't unhappy. But his appearance gave me an idea that I have been throwing around in my head for years. And I'm thinking, I want to do that. I think I'm going to do that for this upcoming Let's Play series. I am going to make an island. It's going to go into the fall, maybe through to Halloween. I don't know. But I'm going to find all of the villagers nobody else likes. Not necessarily who I don't like, but the broad spectrum. You hear it on just about every video you've ever watched. The least liked villagers. I'm going to give them all a home on my island, and I'm going to see if we can't get to know them. Give them a chance, give them their day in the spotlight, and see if we can't kind of sort of change our opinion. There are a couple that I know it's just not going to happen. But maybe we can try really hard to look past the obvious and dig a little bit deeper and see if there isn't some redeeming quality that will make us go, oh, okay. I'm not banking on it. I'll tell you that much. There are a few of them that are like, I don't think there's any redemption here. But you never know. You never know. As far as theme goes, I think I had it in my head, and it obviously didn't come to fruition, but I was thinking that the whole time I was working on this island was like, I don't want to say Adobe style, but like where every house was surrounded by land. Not on all four sides, obviously. Maybe like two sides or all three sides. And of course it just didn't work out. I don't know. Well, I shouldn't say that anymore. I don't know how everybody else does it, because I think I do. My campsite, for some reason, I am always so very happy with my campsites. No matter how small or big or ornate or simple they are. My campsites always turn out so well for me. I'm always pleased with them. Everything else, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, can we move on now? I made a big farm. I had a lot of fun with this. Was it Leaf? Was actually selling wheat and sugar. The second time he came, it was tomatoes and potatoes, which to me is the hardest one to find, those potatoes. And then when I got him on Harvest Island, he had the last two, so I just bought them all up. I had a ton of money. I ended up with over 100,000 Nook miles. I have about 200 Nook miles left. Yeah, from mid-May, was that the last time I recorded? Straight up until the end of August. This is all I did. Well, this isn't the only game I played, but I daily worked on this island. Excuse me. Allergies. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Walker is my latest installment here, and sadly we have to say goodbye to him, but it's not like I can't take him in the future, especially these late comers to my island. Just because I am looking for villagers I've never had before doesn't mean I can't take one that I only had for a little bit. Oh, and my hair, I forgot to mention that. Chopped off my hair. And I guess that has a lot to do with how hot this summer actually was. I always wear it up in a bun, and it was just about down to my behind. It was that long. And it just wasn't working. I just couldn't take it anymore. So I grabbed a pair of scissors and off it came. Very, very short, just like that. And already it's growing out. It's starting to bother me because it's touching my neck. And there's nothing I can do about it because it is too short to put up in the bun. But I'll survive. I will survive. Yeah, I put Raine there in the corner with all of the flowers and frilly stuff. Sisterlies always say that everybody's surprised that they like flowers and gardening. And it's like, well, it's no surprise to me. They act all tough, but they're sweethearts on the inside. Now, I had Pearl and Kitty, and I already have Pearl's amiibo, so I swapped Pearl out for our Smug, which we never had, and of course it's always Lionel. I even have Lionel's amiibo card, and I know he got a bad rap with the Happy Home Paradise DLC when you do his vacation home and he says there can never be enough toilets, and that kind of ruined it for everybody. But he will always be my gay thespian. I love him to death, and I want him on just about every island I have. I love Lionel. So that's what I'm getting at as far as my idea for the fall island. It isn't necessarily who I don't like, because we all know it's Clay. And poor unfortunate Clay, just those eyes. I can't help but see it every time I see those eyes, and it's like, no, I don't want to be staring at two crotches. I just don't want to do it. Two naked, open panty crotches, and it's, ugh. And then there are others, like a lot of people don't care for the kangaroos, neither do I. That is not what we're going after. We are going after the people who outwardly, vocally share their dislike and the reason why they don't like them. And it's usually because they're ugly. And I think that's so sad. Yeah, my special fireworks, the Tutu told me she thought it would be really cool to see her name up in lights and fireworks, and I thought that is a cool idea. So I made the mistake of putting everybody's name in gold and leaving the background white instead of painting it black. Every single one of them, so all you get is this big white burst of light. It's supposed to be their names. Yeah, close to 100,000 Nook miles. So that was pretty cool. I did really well. But I was so into the game, and I'm still into the game despite what other people are thinking. And I am seriously sorry for the burnout that occurred, but like I said, there are so many factors that went into it. But a few of them just seemed to stick out like a sore thumb to me. And one of them was everybody doing a core themed island. And then that competition thing comes in, and so many people like me who just aren't that talented just don't have the... This isn't an insult, but they just don't have the brain power to put it all together and make it work. There's no shame in that, but it is ego deflating when everybody is showing you their island and you're like, I can never do that. And I certainly don't want to steal anybody else's ideas. So it just kind of took the air out of the balloon, you know what I mean? At least that's the way I'm seeing it. Back to the original plan for the umpteen-thousandth time. Yeah, I put my stores a little bit closer to the beach. I did not over-decorate my beaches, but I did give them enough to, enjoy. And of course, this was just one of those weird islands where they just didn't. They would be on the beach, but with a net. Or they would be walking on the sidewalk above the beach. But I used to have villagers sit in those chairs and flop themselves down on those loungers. And I used to have those cute inflatables, the bird inflatables. They're so pretty. My villagers used to plunk down in there and just sit there eating ice cream. And this time, This is the most I've seen them in that plaza area since I started the island. No singing, and the jukebox is right there. I have a music player right there. I have another one on the beach. I have one up near their houses, and they don't even stop to sing. It's really, really weird. This is like a one-off for me. Every 7th or 8th island, this happens to me. And then the rest of them, everything is just normal. Everything's fine. That fish looked awful big to me, so I figured I'd give it a chance. I'm like, that can't possibly be a black bass. It's gotta be. Yeah. You can tell just by the feel. Okay. And I already caught it. But that's okay. Those are bells. Not that I need them anymore, but that was fun. My museum did not get finished, but I did, in record time, finish the dinosaur exhibit without even needing my daughter. My daughter still doesn't have Nintendo Online. It's kind of sad because I really enjoy sharing my island with her and visiting her island. I just get so much joy out of that. And she just doesn't have... I even gave her my credit card information. I said, it's $20 a year, go for it. And she never did. I hope I didn't scare her away from this game. And I understand burnout. Believe me, I understand burnout. But it never lasts for me with this game. I just keep coming back to it. I get an idea in my head and I'm like, that sounds like fun, or that sounds like might be a winner. And I open it up and just start playing, and then I can't stop until I'm satisfied with what's going on. So no, I've never had true burnout where 5 years ago I played it and I have never looked back since. No, that hasn't happened. But I did mention I have been, at the moment, I am attempting for the 5th or 6th time, I can't quite be certain, Supermarket Simulator. I know everybody's over that one too, and that's fine. I bought it, I'm going to play it. But I have never, ever been able to buy every single license And I have never reached, what is it, no, it's $1 million. Is it $1 million? It's 100 something, 100,000. Yeah, 100,000. Yeah, I've never reached 100,000. To be able to expand to the fullest extent. So I've spent the whole summer trying to do that too. And I'm actually down to the last license. But my store is getting very cramped because I just can't. I never make it past. The highest I ever get is 50,000. And it's a grind. And they've added so many new features. You can use a vehicle now. So if you buy the truck, which is $12,500, you do have to put gas in it every once in a while. But you can load so much onto that truck because they now have wholesalers dotted around the map. So you can go to a janitor supply and everything that you purchase is half price. So you can save money and make money that way, and it has helped to get my store as big as it is now. But those last 3 or 6 expansions, I just don't think it's ever going to happen. Now that is another thing. I've been at 5 stars for a couple weeks up to this point, and I've only ever gotten 1 Lily of the Valley. And I have checked. I have checked with Isabel every other day, and out 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. It's like, well, where are my lilies? Did I say that right? Lily of the Valley? Yeah. Some people call them Jacob's ladders, but I don't think it's a Jacob's ladder because I think a Jacob's ladder is it's in the buttercup family, isn't it? It's a great big white thing that hangs down. I could be wrong. It kind of looks like a lily of the valley flower, but it's much bigger. If I'm not mistaken, and I could very well be. So yeah, that is my island, and I really enjoyed the way it turned out. Everything on the island was bought with Nook miles, but I always saved up. I needed at least 40,000 Nook miles before I would start buying things. And then I'd look at it like, okay, so the most expensive item is like 8,000 Nook miles, right? But I guess I kept flip-flopping between that and Supermarket Simulator going, this is going to cost me an arm and a leg, and it doesn't actually. So that gold phone box, yeah, everything in here came with the island. Some of them weren't bad, but some of them were, wow. Anyway, Hippo was the first one to ask to leave, and I don't know why I said okay. I was in that mindset where I don't want to hold anybody back, but this was a different type of island. And it was like, if you're here, you're staying. And I blew it right away with him. And I think that's when I found Kitty. We had a couple come and go. I'm trying to remember who, but it's been a couple weeks, so, well, it's been a week since I last played, but it's been a couple weeks since they asked to leave, so I can't remember. But yeah, it was all kitties, and I just love Tutu. I never had Tutu. I don't think I've ever had Tutu before. I may have in very early days. 5 years ago, perhaps. I don't remember. But I just think she's adorable. She's so much fun. But yes, the only thing with the museum I finished was the dinosaur exhibit. Red didn't come around as... Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying about the weird island. The way things worked out. Every villager hunt that I went on, that was another thing. It was the oddest. I only got the same 3 islands over and over and over again. I never got a variation. Well, excuse me. No, yeah, one time I got that. I think someone called it a junk island. I don't know why. I don't think they were right, but the one where it's all trees with no fruit on it, but there's layers. So like there's 2 cliffs on either side of you, and then there's another one in the back. One time. All the rest were the bamboo, the ziggy-zaggy one, and the one where you have to hop over the river to get to the villager on the beach. That was it. Every single time. And every single time I was shown Peppy, lazy, Normie. Normie, Normie, lazy, Normie, Peppy, lazy, Normie. I never once saw a smug, which is why I ended up using an amiibo card just to get Lionel to show up. And I traded him with Pearl, who I didn't need my amiibo card for. I found her on an island. The snooties were just as easy to find, but they were few and far between. I never once met a grump until I found Rolf. He was the first and the last grump that I met. Now that has never happened before. It was just really, really strange island. I don't know what happened. I do like to keep my resident services towards the front. And my thinking with that is there's far more available land to work with. If it's too high or dead center, you got to work around the resident services, and that kind of made me anxious. So I like to have it either close to the airport or off to one side so that a vast majority of the island is available for me to work with. So that's what I'm going to continue to look for. Will you sit down? My goodness. Antsy. I don't care about fruit or flower, but I'm thinking in the fall. Well, does it really matter? No, not really. I know everybody does beautiful fall core islands, and I love them. I think fall is one of the most beautiful times in this game. But I haven't had a cherry tree in ages, so if I find a cherry tree, that would be great. I'm not too worried about my starters. Well, should I be? Aren't those the most difficult ones to get off your island? They're the last ones to leave. Well, we'll see what happens with that. I'm not too worried about it. But as far as the flower and all that goes, I don't really care. And I'm going to try desperately not to worry too much about the beach. Well, you know what? I shouldn't say that because it never really happens. I'm a stickler for those types of things, and some habits are super hard to break. I want to be able to run from one end to the other, looking for shells or fishing or whatever. And I don't want to be tripping over jutting out stones and rocks and outcroppings, and it just drives me nuts. And that is just me. I won't apologize for it, but I'm sure some of you are thinking I'm weird, and that wouldn't surprise me either. But that is my general idea for the next Let's Play coming up. I will be uploading much more frequently now that we can. Good gravy, it's going to get so cold this weekend. The lows are going to be in the 40s, and the highs are going to be in the 50s, so we won't be opening windows and doors anymore. Of course, you'll always hear the next door neighbor's doggies barking away. But I am recording this at 7:30 at night, so even the airplanes aren't going over the house. I don't know why it took me forever and a day to realize that I was just doing everything at the wrong time. At a inopportune time to record. My thinking always was, if I can get this out of the way, then I have the whole rest of the day to myself. And that's kind of silly. So hopefully I can stick to this schedule and my audio won't be as obnoxious as I tend to see it. It just, oh my goodness, so loud. If you stuck it with me to this point, I thank you very much. I appreciate it. You take good care of yourselves. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.